Hey kids, you're listening to a couple of annoyed grumblies, and this is the 138th Simpsons podcast. That's right, we're the Simpsons podcast that discusses the beloved animated sitcom The Simpsons from seasons 11 and beyond, and the newest episodes when they air. Why do we do it this way? Well, plenty of other podcasts out there have talked about the Golden Age Simpsons episodes, that being seasons 1 through 10, so we're tasked to find if any episodes from the latter seasons can match those Golden Age episodes we all know and love. I don't do this alone because I'm just one annoyed grumpy named Craig. With me, as always, is on the other mic over there.
Ooh.
His name's not Mike, it is...
Steve. Hey, Craig, how are we doing this week?
Sorry, am I coming in hot like a morning DJ?
You do sound a little DJ-like, but not Tanner.
I identify as a Stephanie.
Don't we all?
Morning DJs, do you... I haven't listened to like a morning radio show in years.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's still like local... I'm sure there's still like local wacky morning DJs, right?
Yeah, but I feel like the love is gone. Like, I feel like it's so, like, probably AI generated or just lazy, like, where it's one person in a room in California and they're, like, going across the nation. But I do miss, like, the antics of, like, a wacky DJ talking about, like, inside jokes and, like, I miss the art of radio. Like, if it was still around, I would strive to be a DJ instead of just a measly podcaster.
Yeah. I was just going to say, because podcasts really killed everyone's career in communications that wanted to be a DJ, because idiots like us that have a computer and a microphone can do a job. I mean, I'm not saying we're better as like professional broadcasters. I don't think we are.
No, we're not. We're not.
We're not, Howard Stern.
We're no Rick Dees.
There you go, Rick Dees. We're more like Rick Dees nuts.
And that is why we're not on the radio.
You know, I think I would like to be a broadcaster for baseball. Because, I'm a big sporto. I mean, mostly a baseball sporto.
Yeah.
But when you're watching a 3-hour game and the broadcast guys and gals, they're just doing a podcast for 3
That's
hours.
True, yeah.
I love it when they just when there's like boring stuff going on in a baseball game, which happens a lot, that they just like start talking about like movies, food, just like every other podcaster out there.
Yeah, I always had the dream of being like a late night radio host on like a show that nobody listened to, but like I'd have a 4-hour show where I played obscure music. And then, yeah, I would also just talk.
You do an obscure show that no one listens to for 4 hours, and that's the show.
That is a good point.
I think I'm going to go to like a baseball game and just record my own commentary. I think that's what a lot of broadcasters, they do when they start going to try to get that job, is they go sit in the stands by themselves and record themselves doing play-by-play for the game. You got to practice, right?
It's true. Practice makes perfect.
All right, so I'll be like the main guy. You could be the guy that makes the funny jokes. You'd be like the Dennis Miller did to NFL.
I've been compared to Dennis Miller many times, so I'm used to this by now.
All right, well, I don't think we need to talk about baseball much anymore on this podcast, Steve. I think we should talk about The Simpsons.
Ah, yes.
Specifically, a Simpsons episode that aired September 30th, 2012.
Ooh.
I like to call this one Moonshine River. But I also like to get into the mindset of 2012. Do you remember what life was like in September of 2012? I believe Barack Obama was our president.
For a little while longer, yes.
Yeah. We were probably living. You were married?
Not yet. I was with my soon-to-be wife, but we were yet to be even engaged.
2012 just seems like a year that I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I was working as a DJ, so maybe that's why I don't remember. It was probably a lot of drunken nights, right?
Yeah, probably. That sounds about right.
Yeah. I think you were just you were living your life and I was living mine.
That's all we can do, man. Get through
I
the
wonder,
day.
Did we record our very first podcast in 2012? Not this podcast, but that one we did like around that time. We did maybe 4 episodes and then we stopped.
That would probably be around the same time, yeah, because, yeah.
That would be an interesting... I should find those files and put them up. I don't know if we'd have permission, though, because of some of the other people that were on the show.
I mean, they're all mostly still alive and probably still talk to them, right?
No.
Okay.
Oh, there is one episode that's just you, Laura, and me.
Oh, there we go.
We talked about Beauty and the Beast.
I really have no memory of what we talked about then.
If I find that file, clean it up.
Oh, boy.
That could be a Patreon exclusive episode.
Ooh, yes, that's right.
But let's kind of get in that mindset. I imagine if I tell you some of the music and movies of 2012 in September, you'll be like, yes, I know where I was at. Because I'm pretty sure you were at the theater seeing this movie because you love Adam Sandler and kids' movies. That, of course, is Hotel Transylvania.
Yes, that is a movie that exists.
I have not seen those films. I grew out of Adam Sandler after, Happy Gilmore, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me it was Uncut Gems, but yeah.
I know that's more of a recent movie. I never saw that. I don't know. I liked, the older, we grew up with, Wedding Singer and Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, but, I never got into Little Nicky. I never got into, I know Spanglish was supposed to be good. I never saw that.
Yeah.
But, Steve, should we make a promise to our listeners on the Patreon?
Oh, boy.
We will review Happy Gilmore 2.
Absolutely. It's my word.
That one will be an easy, fun podcast to do.
I think so.
We'll have to do it, another podcast for that, at least another night, one more. Maybe we can have a bunch of, with us, too, maybe 3 other people that, would be a different color than us. Kind of like a red, maybe.
Yeah, but with a little bit of purple mixed in there. Yeah.
Okay, what would you call that?
I guess it would be One More Night with Maroon 5?
Is there a Jeopardy, how they do before and after Jeopardy categories? This
shitty pop pans and chain restaurants?
And expensive hamburger store. Maroon 5 guys. Yeah.
Hamburger store.
What am I supposed to call it?
It's fair. That's what it is. It's a hamburgery.
It's a hamburger store. They used to be cheap and affordable. Now they're goddamn expensive. I'm never going to a Five Guys ever again.
I don't blame you. And the fries, you get plenty of them, but they're just fine.
Their fries suck ass.
Yeah, that's true. I was being polite.
Better than In-N-Out.
Yeah, it's not saying anything.
Which I will be probably dining at an In-N-Out later this week while I'll be in California, Steve. So,
ooh. Which
isn't to say much because we have In-N-Out up here. So
yeah.
One going in maybe a couple miles from my house. Anyways, oh hey. See, the lights just turned out. I need some sort of lamp.
Where's Edison when you need him? You need a real illuminator, a light guy, oh man, I'm gonna listen to my favorite Ramones song backwards.
Or if you could do me the pleasure, give me some light and buy me some pleasure by getting a Woman of the Night and something for my horse to eat.
So you ride your horse in town, buy a sex worker, get something for the horse. So it's ho, hey.
Yeah.
And then you talk to the guy with the flashlight, the Lumineer.
So what's the hot rock alternative song this week?
Ho Hey by the Lumineers. In this horrible ho hey era of music.
Would you go back in time and put bounties on all of those ho hey songs?
Yeah, I'd hang posters probably to take them out.
Like something that said Dead or Alive on it?
Yeah, and maybe I'd get a bounty hunter, the guy who wrote Shaft.
But just not his first name, right?
Of course.
Steve, what's the hot country song of that week?
Why, it was Wanted by Hunter Hayes.
Now that is a country singer name if I've ever heard one.
Indeed, and Wanted does sound like a song that a cowboy singer would sing.
Steve, I think my internet just went out.
Oh no.
Yeah. I got a shitty internet brand.
It's not Quantum Fiber, is it?
It's not Quantum Fiber. I'd rather not say, Steve, but if you do guess it, and you say its name, I might fix my internet router device.
Well, that'd be good because that way you can continue to watch videos of the mom from the Brady Bunch.
Because of my love of, what's her name, Henderson?
Yes, the one who sold the Wesson oil.
I don't know. I kind of want to watch those progressive ads with that lady Flo. What would her full name be, though? I don't know.
I guess it would be...
Anyway, Steve, what was the hot dance electric song of that day?
It was Spectrum, Say My Name by Florence and the Machine.
Well, our dog days are over. That's the only Florence and the Machine song I know.
Video games? Summertime? No, that's Lana
No,
Del Rey.
that's Lana.
Yeah, never mind. I don't know either.
All right. Well, Steve, I know we need to stop goofing around because that's not what people want to listen to us do, goofing off.
It's true.
They want us to be serious and talk about a serious subject matter like animated sitcoms. We're talking Moonshine River, Steve. Bart seeks out his long-lost love, Cletus's daughter, who started a new life in New York City.
Get a rope.
Lisa wants to take in a Broadway play, but ends up performing at Shakespeare in the park.
Get a rope.
We're going to take a break, come back, and do this thing. All right.
Sounds good.
Lock the gates. Hey, can we use Lock the Gates after Mark Maron retires?
I think so. I think it's free game.
All right. I'm going to start playing guitar all the time on the podcast, too. All right.
Get a rope.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Today we're talking about Moonshine River. It's the first episode of the 24th season. It's episode 509 in the show's run. Original air date September 30th, 2012. Their nerd code is PABF21. Written by Tim Long, directed by Bob Anderson, showrunner Al Jean. That's like a list of who's who of The Simpsons. Like, that's just like, a tightly knit group of writer, director, showrunner.
Oh, yeah. Some classics. I mean, of course, Al Jean. He's hashtag iconic. Bob Anderson is a great director. And, of course, we have Tim Long, once again, from everybody's favorite Brandon that isn't Joe Biden, Manitoba, Canada. Now he lives in Ontario. He wrote for Bill Maher's Politically Incorrect, Spy Magazine, The Late Show with David Letterman, and, of course, The Simpsons. And he was also appeared in the New York Times and the New Yorker. We've talked about him a bunch. We've made a lot of jokes about his name, so I'll keep this short. He's written 34 episodes, and this is the 21st that we reviewed. Of course, the one that we can't review is Simpsons Bible Stories, but he wrote the Xena episode of Treehouse of Horror 10, Saddle Store Galactica, Skinner's Sense of Snow, New Kids on the Block, classic episode, Bart and Lisa versus the Third Grade, Homer and Ned's Hail Mary Pass, Homer and Lisa Exchange Crosswords, one of my favorites, and most recently we had Stranger Things, the finale of season 36.
Probably our favorite episode from 36, right?
Yeah, and let's not forget to mention Homer's adventure through the windshield glass, which was the end of season 34.
We made a comment that he seems to be the guy to write season finales, and now he's writing season premieres, because he does the same thing.
That's true.
For instance, Elementary School Musical, that's season 22's opener. We have yet to review that, Steve.
Yes.
I think that's it.
Okay, that's good.
Which episode are you looking forward to besides, of course, Lisa Goes Gaga?
Of course. Maybe Springfield Splendor, because, I like American Splendor. And, of course, the one after The Devil Wears Nada, but before Elementary School Musical.
Which one's that?
Jizz Janitor's Justice Jail Jigger.
I don't think that's a real episode, Steve.
Ah, damn.
Okay.
Maybe it's the one that I just made in my mind and with a lot of cartoon doodle pads.
You sure like alliteration, Steve.
Like alliteration, I do, yes.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Title gag. We got Artie Pie flying through the air in the Channel 6 newscopter falling out of the whirlybird as it takes a turn. Is he dead now?
I think so.
Can Simpsons kill off characters in the title sequence and it's canon?
I'm going to say so, unless they get shot out of a cannon. Then, coincidentally enough, it's not canon.
What if they're female and they get pregnant by Nick Cannon?
Well, that's just likely.
Timely Nick Cannon joke.
America may have talent, but we have current jokes.
What is this, 2023?
It's funny because that joke is too old for now, but too new for this episode.
Ooh. Do we have a chalkboard gag, Steve?
We do, but before that, we even have a billboard gag, because we're in the era of HD long intros.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a billboard gag with Rainier Wolfcastle pointing a gun at the viewer of the billboard, and that darn three-eyed raven, if you look at it, advertising for McBain Capital with the slogan, "Consider this a hostile takeover."
But do we have a chalkboard gag?
Fine, yes we do.
All right.
And it is, "I will not wear white after Labor Day." And Bart writes this while wearing a white suit.
It is after Labor Day, after all, when this airs.
Yeah. If you think about it, though, isn't every day after Labor Day?
Yeah. I think it just like it on January 1st, you're allowed to wear white.
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's other Labor Days around the world.
Especially if you're around Nick Cannon.
I don't subscribe to that theory, Steve. I'll wear white when I damn well please.
Craig likes white, and he's proud of it.
In fact, I'm going to just go around and tell people I have white pride.
And that's your power, because you also have white power.
Yeah. The power is to not put me down when I'm wearing a white t-shirt.
Yes. That white man always getting torn down.
It's the summer of white, Steve. No, like I usually wear white clothes in the summer because, it reflects the heat, it doesn't absorb it.
Yeah.
Nice white linen shirt, linen shorts, a little straw hat. I'm already ready for retirement, Steve.
Or to ride a raft down the Mississippi River with Huck Finn.
Yeah. And my friend, Jim.
I believe his name is James.
Nothing else.
That's it.
Okay. Steve, I bet you don't know this, but there is a couch gag, and it's Homer, Marge, Bart, and Lisa as pupa, emerging from their cocoons as beautiful butterflies. They each have markings on their wings, signifying their favorite things, like Homer has donuts, Lisa has a saxophone and musical notes, Bart has a slingshot, and of course, Marge has her vacuum.
He loves a vacuum. So a giant-sized mallet crashes down on them, but they all flow away just in time. The wielder of that mallet is Baby Gerald, who chases them from their Simpson house model down a hallway, passing a fish tank containing Blinky the three-eyed fish, as well as several taxidermied butterflies behind glass. The Simpsons hide, landing on a hanging mobile, folding their bodies to fit the shapes of the hanging sun, moon, and stars.
Now, do you think Blinky is the same Blinky in every episode, or is it just multiple Blinkies?
He'd be a very old fish
well,
by now.
They ate him, though, so...
That's also true.
I think it's just canon that all fish are three eyes in Springfield, right?
That would make sense, yeah.
Three-eye fish.
Fi-eye-ish. That's how you would say it.
Yeah. Are they also like part of a shitty jam band that hippies love?
Yeah. From Vermont, yeah. Their studio stuff is okay.
So, let's just begin the episode, Steve. And it begins, as it always does, at the first annual Springfield Grand Prix. Ken Brockman reports that much like all of the town's other showcase events, this one is not only poorly planned, but it's also poorly executed. Sound familiar, Steve?
It does.
So the racers are stopped mid-race by a construction sign. The workers take their lunch break to enjoy their sandwiches, while using the digital sign reader to watch Ken Burns' The Making of the Empire State Building, narrated by the acclaimed documentarian, Ken Burns. And, yes, that's his real hairstyle. It's not a wig.
Yep, he chooses to do that as a wealthy adult.
It's the Guy Gardner Green Lantern hairstyle, right?
It is.
Like, just don't pull that bowl cut look off. It looks ridiculous on anybody. Like, it's fine if you're the Green Lantern because you're an asshole. Mm-hmm. But when you're like Ken Burns, I can't take you seriously. It's like the guy who owns the Raiders, right? He's got the same hairstyle.
Yeah, I mean, are you too busy zooming in on still photos to get a haircut?
Steve, do you think we should watch Ken Burns' baseball and review it?
I think so. I think we should do all parts in the same fashion of notes that we do it here with clips and everything.
Because, like, we take a 22-minute TV show, and it's roughly, we talk, like, about 90 minutes. So Each part is, 2 hours long?
Yes.
And we'll just do that for the summer. We won't talk about The Simpsons.
Nice. Speaking of Homer at the Bat, this episode has 11 guest stars, which ties it for the most guest stars as Homer at the Bat. Speaking of baseball.
One of my favorite episodes.
It's a great episode. So, once the race gets started properly, cars zoom by a crazy cat lady, causing her to spin and fling felines wildly. One of those cats lands on the steering wheel of one of the racers, and the driver swerves, crashing into the yard barn fabric store, going up in flames. The driver runs out of the vehicle still on fire, and his screams of agony are ignored by a nearby audience, who are too busy watching the cat bat at a ball of yarn. Another car then crashes into the stands, killing that audience.
Times like these, I wish Maude Flanders was still alive witnessing all of this.
I know. I mean, if she's probably still a little weary of stands.
Yeah. So the Simpsons find themselves stuck on a cross street of this event. Homer patiently waits for a gap between the speeding cars. Marge assures him that they can just get scotch tape the following day, but Homer finds a gap and races to it. The gap is too small, so they back up. The car is then blocked by a bike race, or as Lisa puts it, a Peloton.
That's before that horrible thing in the commercial and all that. Lisa's ahead of the time.
Before the pandemic, when everyone decided to get on Peloton.
Yeah, and there was that weird commercial where the husband got it because he thought his wife was fat.
Yeah. Don't they have, like, walk-a-ton now? Like, you walk?
Yeah, I mean, there's also outside.
But all those rich people can't afford to walk on the street, Steve. They'll be plagued by us poor people. Ah,
yes, the pores. The worst of diseases.
It truly is.
I look down on the less fortunate, unlike myself. Ken explains that it's also the last day of the Tour de Springfield bike race. The cyclists ride straight at the race drivers, driving over them with ease. Chief Wiggum compliments their bike riding skills, just as a crash is heard. A large, crusty-branded car drives over 3 cyclists lying on the ground.
That night, after all the car and bike wreckage had been cleared off the road by a plow truck. No, I don't think it was Mr. Plow or even the Plow King. So a racer's ball is held downtown. Please note that the racist ball is down the street. Mayor Quimby introduces the event, saying there were no winners or losers, as both finish lines were tangled up in an unholy mess. So Bart taps at a ball of mangled cars and bikes, and hears a tap in response.
The crowd is curious, but Quimby looks to draw their attention from that sound to the sound of Scab Calloway and his non-union band. The globe of wreckage continues to tap, but Wiggum tases the ball without warning. Inside, at the ball, not that one, but the dance, Lisa dances with Milhouse, and Bart asks if this is a date, or just a meaningless friend thing. Lisa replies, meaningless friend thing, while Milhouse eagerly shouts, true love super date.
So Bart sculpts a balloon animal of Milhouse's head, saying that Lisa and Milhouse's baby would look like the inflated artwork. Milhouse lovingly holds the balloon version of himself, promising a future full of love. Lisa declares that they aren't having a baby, popping the balloon with the pin of her corsage, leaving Milhouse to cry out, Jimmy!
Aw, poor Jimmy.
Yeah.
But actually, I do have to say that Bart's a very good balloon artist, because that did look a lot like Milhouse.
Well, he's got a future in balloon making.
You can blow him like the best. So the unhappy couple take to the dance floor. Milhouse dips Lisa, causing his asthma inhaler and a couple of pens to fall out of his jacket pocket. So Bart points at this, saying, geek leak. And as we'll hear in this clip, Lisa is happy to have a date, and Bart is left to consider his own romantic past.
Hey, Bart, at least I've got a date. Dance with me, please. I need to zing my sister.
Okay, but you have to do your homework. Just kidding. I've given up on that.
Just move your girdle, Yurdle. Hey, Lise, your dance partner just made the cover of Dorks Illustrated magazine. I know that's a zing, but still, the cover!
Now you listen to me, Bart. Milhouse may not be the perfect date.
Please let there be a butt coming, please.
But
landed it!
At least I'm with someone who tries a little too hard because he really likes me.
Hey, plenty of babes have docked at Porto de Barto.
Yeah, for about a week. But as soon as they get to know the real you, they departo de Barto. That's why you're alone tonight.
Oh my God. Is that true?
Yes, I'm afraid Lisa's right, son. If the late, great Nora Ephron taught us anything, it's... Oh! What's my other inflatable doll doing here?
Nora Ephron died June 26, 2012.
Oh, wow. So this was very, very recent.
I actually thought she died like a few years ago, and it was 2012. So for me, it's like, yeah, didn't she just die? Like, maybe 2020? That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was like, if you told me, I was thinking, yeah, like 2018, 2019, but yeah. 13 years ago? That's wild.
She never got to listen to our podcast.
She would have loved it.
Listening to the clip is different than watching it because I'm hearing the background music. And, like, that's supposed to be a children's school dance music. Like, it just sounds like an old person's ball music.
Well, it's confusing because it's not exactly a kid's dance. It's for the racists. But it's also funny that Bart thinks that it's a flex to dance with his teacher to impress his sister.
I would dance with Mrs. Crabapple, especially now.
Of course. Maybe the song Thriller.
Well, as most stuffs one deflated date into his pocket to take out the hand of another blow-up companion, Bart thinks about his dating history. And later in his room, Bart pulls out his precious junk. That's a shoebox full of memories, Steve, not Bart's ball-peen hammer, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Next to his trademark slingshot, a Krusty Show ashtray, and a zip-locked ravioli that looks like him, and his portrait collection full of former loves.
So looking at the photos, Bart realizes that it's true. None of his relationships have lasted the test of time. There's one that was 3 days, another that lasted through a single recess, and a third one that only lasted half a field trip. Bart regrets his neediness over at the planetarium. And Neediness at the Planetarium sounds like a sequel to Panic at the Disco, if bands had sequels.
Well, like Jefferson Airplane became Jefferson Starship, then just Starship. So it's kind of like they're sequelizing or rebooting their band in a way.
Exactly. So eventually, there will be Neediness at the Planetarium.
What would be the sequel to, let's say, The Doors?
The Windows.
What about The Beatles?
The Rhythm Raccoons.
I like that. How about Two Live Crew?
3 dead groups.
All right. Did you ever have one of those only lasted half a field trip types of girlfriends in school?
I feel like I did. Like, I would have, like, a thing where, like, we'd, like, get in a group together, and, like, we'd make one joke, and so we'd be bonded, and then we wouldn't say anything, but we'd stand near each other, and then we'd never talk again.
I remember, I want to say it was 6th grade, a girl comes up to me and said, like, so-and-so thinks you're cute and wants to date you. And I'm like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
And then we, like, talk. I'm like, cool. And then, like, later that day, she's like, her friend comes back to me, she's like, never mind, she changed her mind. And I'm just like, go ahead, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
I like the follow-up, though. That's very kind.
Yeah, just like, you know what? Never mind, I don't want to date him. He's weird.
On second thought.
I was probably like talking about the Death of Superman comic books. I'm like, yeah, fucking Superman's awesome, isn't he? Like, I'm a girl. I don't want to talk about comic books. I don't know. I have no idea what. I was just like, wow, she likes me. And like, guess I'll date her. She's cute.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I'm like, all right, well, that's the weirdest interaction. Maybe they were playing a prank on me that day.
I was worried about that. Like, first of all, if anybody liked you, that was the most attractive thing a person could do.
Right.
But yeah, and also I wondered if anybody liked me, are they playing a prank on me? Why would somebody like me?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Because I'm stupid. I'm awful.
Like, it's fine if, like, you know, when you're that age, when it's the gender that you're not attracted to likes you.
Sure.
But, like, if it's the opposite sex or the gender that you're attracted to and someone likes you, that just doesn't seem reasonable.
It doesn't seem right.
No. Well, Steve, at least one woman likes you.
That's right. She's still there.
I was going to say your wife, but I'm really thinking about...
Oh, have you heard something?
Yeah, that big, tall woman in New York City.
Ah.
Lady Liberty, she likes you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like a tall woman, so.
And she's French. Homer walks by holding a microwave and several bags of Krusty brand microwavable popcorn. He's about to take a popcorn bath, which is a thing that he read about in Men's Health magazine in a dream. Bart wonders how Homer was able to keep Marge in love after all these years. And Homer tells Bart to look in the mirror, calling him an unplanned miracle. Homer adds that he also tries to keep things interesting, just as Marge notices that the microwave is missing. Would you just sit in a bathtub full of popcorn? I think you would.
I was thinking about this. First of all, it sounds like a completely reasonable thing for like a health magazine to suggest.
In a dream.
Yeah, in a dream, of course. And as long as it's not buttered, I'm down. I think it could be nice.
Salted?
Probably not, in case I have any open cuts or wounds. That would hurt.
And if you're naked, I'd be afraid of salt getting into the urethra.
That's true. But I will put peanut M&Ms in there, just for fun.
I would probably go with, like maybe if I'm wearing, as long as I'm wearing maybe, like, swim trunks.
Sure.
Or a wetsuit, then maybe I would have the butter.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have to be in the tub first, and then people just pour butter on me.
Yeah, but don't do caramel corn, because that would really hurt.
Yeah, that sounds fun. All right. Have you ever had anything, like, from a dream that you wake up like, why isn't that real? I want this now?
The one that I had was an Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich.
Well?
And now I think it's a thing. Like, I think they actually sell those now.
I have yet to see that one. That's the one I'm looking for. I've seen the Rice Krispie Treat ice cream sandwiches, and it's outrageous price. It's like $10, and you only get 3. And I think that's highway robbery, because Rice Krispie Treats are like one of the cheapest things you can make.
Yeah.
So just make it yourself.
Also, homemade Rice Krispie Treats are like 1,000 times better than the packaged ones.
Right. And then the other one I saw was a Eggo waffle ice cream sandwich. I'm curious about that one. But I did buy, for people listening, off pod, the only time I ever text Steve really is junk food.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time. So the Trolley, the gummy worm brand, they have a gummy worm ice cream pop.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned it on this show, but I like them. I think they're weird. And they kind of had that kind of consistency of the old Flintstone push-up pops.
Yabba dabba doo.
Yeah. So that's a good snack for me. And, circus animal crackers, but Reese's peanut butter chocolate covered. Those are good too.
Yeah.
Not the mother's, like, sugar-coated ones, but, like, just your basic animal cracker.
But covered in Reese's.
Yes.
That sounds great.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And also the Trader Joe's root beer float candies. Those are so good.
I can attest to that. Those are really good. And everyone who's tried them are like, that shouldn't work, but it does. So, yeah.
We really should just be a podcast about food, Steve.
I know. I don't know what we call ourselves, but we should just.
Maybe, now that we have the Patreon, that could be a Patreon episode.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Snacks.
Ooh, I like that.
Kind of sounds like the baseball player Steve Sachs, but Steve Snacks.
And Craig Crunches.
Yeah. Oh my god, we just gave away our actual last names on this podcast finally.
Oh, man. My wife, Laura Snacks, is going to be really upset.
Is that how you introduce yourself? I'm like, I'm a snack and soon you will be too.
That's right.
All right. Speaking of snacks, Steve, let's talk about The Simpsons.
All right. Well, Homer sees Bart's collection of X's, and he's sympathetic. Rejection is tough, and Homer explains it never gets easier until you can drink. He then shows Bart the fine art of drunk dialing, and in this clip we're about to hear, Bart contacts his loves of past.
Observe. Hey, it's me again. He's there, isn't he? Well, I hope this doesn't sound weird, but I'm inside your closet.
That's awesome, but I think I'll visit my ex-girlfriends and prove they still like me.
Hey, it's me. I was thinking about you. It's your birthday in like 3-4 months. Would it be weird if I threw you a party?
Eat my shorts! Drop dead. Eat fist jerk.
You've got a lot of nerve showing up here and not giving me a kiss. Inappropriate! I miss you. Stalker! Save me!
A lot of familiar voices, Steve.
Yeah, there's Bart, there's Homer. I mean, it's a clip. It's what we expect.
Have you ever been a drunk dialer?
No, maybe a texter?
Drunk texter, yeah. I think his were like the millennials. I'm sorry, no, we're Gen Alphas. Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're Gen Alphas, so we only TikTok our feelings, so I wouldn't know what this is about, like calling people.
But no, I actually was like looking at, I've had the same phone for about 4 years now, and I was like looking at the stats, and I've spoken on it for a total of 3 hours.
Wow, that's impressive, actually.
Yeah.
It was probably just like you're on hold, like trying to contact like your power company or cable company, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
On hold with someone. You're not like actually on the phone talking to someone, yeah.
Never. That's awful.
I guess the new trend now people are doing is they're calling people that they know, like at night, just telling them good night, like wishing them a good night. Like that's the new TikTok trend.
Weird. That's quaint. Weird.
I don't know, like I just don't see the creativity in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reaction is going to be the same from everybody. Either like, okay, thanks, you too, or like, oh, that's weird. Like you already know the reaction.
Yeah, and are they going to have to play the game like, no, you hang up, and like...
Yeah, Steve, these are the future comedy writers, and that's not that good.
No. Back to the drawing board, kids.
Yeah, like, watch Conan O'Brien. Like, he had a masturbating bear. You don't even know what masturbation is, because you're too afraid to do it, you Gen Alphas.
Exactly, so do that, and like, find a bear. Teach him how to do it too.
But let's talk about some previous girlfriends. There's Jenny, played by Anne Hathaway. No, Steve.
Oh.
Not Shakespeare's wife, but the actress that's still alive. I like Shakespeare's wife.
Right, of course.
She was a nursing home volunteer and Good Samaritan from the Good, the Sad, and the Drugly. She's the one who yells, "Eat my shorts." And I don't believe we've watched that one, right?
We have not yet. Maybe someday.
We had Natalie Portman on the show last week, playing Darcy, and here she is, back, just as Drop Dead.
That's right. We had Gina Vendetti played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, the juvie delinquent from The Watering Juvie, which we did review. And she says, "Eat fist, jerk."
And then Nikki McKenna, Bart's temporary classmate from Stealing First Base, who gives the back and forth, "I hate you, I like you." And that's, of course, Sarah Silverman. So, looks like we got a couple episodes that we might have to be reviewing soon with Sarah Silverman, which I didn't even know she did a voice.
Me neither.
Anne Hathaway. But, of course, we have reviewed the Sarah Michelle Gellar episode and Darcy. So, Bart's got some good exes in there.
It's true. Very nice.
All lovely, talented women.
Didn't Anne Hathaway play another role as, like...
That's what I was thinking, like a princess, right?
Yeah, on, like, Krusty's, like...
Krusty's.
It was, like, love interest / competition for Krusty.
Maybe it's the same one, and Krusty just likes younger girls.
I mean, he is in entertainment.
Also, I wonder, do they just call Natalie Portman and say, "Can you drive down to..." This is the time, before, like, home studios were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just drive down to a studio here in L.A. and record one line that says "Drop Dead"? Or was it maybe, like, a line they recorded for the original episode and it was on the cutting room floor? Maybe they just put it in.
They just took all the extra footage that they had, or the sound clips that they had when they initially were there, and she was like, she dropped her bagel, and she's like, "Oh, I dropped my bagel." And then she's like, "What's your favorite movie?" And she's like, "Drop Dead Fred." And so they just cut out the drop from the "I dropped my bagel" and the dead from "Drop Dead Fred." And there it is. I
highly doubt Natalie Portman's favorite movie is Drop Dead Fred. She is definitely Team Sanity, Steve.
Oh, not a big Gerard Depardieu fan.
All right, Steve, let's continue. Bart and Milhouse pay a visit to a rundown shack, hoping to find Bart's final chance at love, Mary Spuckler. Milhouse compliments Mary, saying she's cute, even though she is a Spuckler. Bart explains that she was allowed to have milk rather than the white paint her siblings had to drink. Bart is greeted by Cletus, who wants proof that Bart isn't one of his offsprings. So Bart begins to sing the alphabet, which is more than enough evidence.
So Cletus regretfully tells Bart that Mary done run off. Bart asks Mary if she still likes him, and Cletus yells a question to Brandine, who is unsure what Mary likes anymore. It seems that she ran away after being forcibly engaged to Old Man Wellbottom. And then a man in the bottom of a well shouts that he would have been a good husband too, if he ever get out of that well. And I just want to say I enjoy Old Man Wellbottom.
So he's stuck down there. Are they just putting buckets of food, and then after he's done eating, he fills the bucket with urine and feces?
Yeah, but I think that Sting comes by every now and then to help him out.
You would think if he just kept peeing and pooping, there's so much of the...
Oh, you make a pile and just build up?
Yeah.
That makes sound logic to me.
Let's, is Mythbuster still on the air, Steve? Let's see if that works.
I'll call Adam and other guy.
Walrus Man.
Yeah.
So Cletus puts the lid on the well and Bart leaves, disappointed. His triple X bottle of moonshine isn't really helping either, so he switches to a jug of 9X hooch. So the young eye-patched Spuckler boy W pops out of an old refrigerator, offering a tip to Mary's locale. He informs Bart that Mary has run off to New York, home of the Sesame Street. So when Milhouse ponders about what Oscar does on Garbage Day, W gives Bart Mary's address in the big something. W wishes the boys good luck and then hops in the open hood of an old truck, which rolls down a hill and into a lake.
The kid in a fridge is a big trope in the 80s that I never really had to deal with as a child.
Wasn't it like more like also not just the 80s? Like that was a thing because didn't refrigerators always locked?
Yeah, so the food doesn't get out.
So you can never like open the door from the inside. So yeah, the food doesn't get out. So there's always warnings for like, kids not to play in old abandoned refrigerators.
Yeah, I think I remember a very special episode of like Punky Brewster, and then also like G.I. Joe outros with like The More You Know.
Wow. I remember this world famous archaeologist was stuck in a refrigerator but survived a nuclear blast.
So maybe those kids were wrong.
Yeah. And that man's name was Louis Leakey. From 1903 to 1972. Louis Leakey, the Kenyan British paleoanthropologist archaeologist.
One of the greats. So, back at home, Bart pops in a video he taped while hanging out with Mary in the upper section of Cletus's barn. Mary, played by Zooey Deschanel, isn't sure if they should even be up there, but Bart coyly zooms in, and then falls through some hay and onto the floor of the barn. As Mary explains, her father just covers things up with hay and says they're done. So with a heart full of memories, Bart asks Marge if they can try and find her in New York, but Marge is hesitant.
Bart, that's sweet, but we'd need airplane money, hotel money.
And $500 for Yankee tickets, which turn out to be bogus.
Well, don't buy 'em.
But they're playing the Purple Sox.
Come on, Dad. You love New York. Now that your two least favorite buildings have been obliterated, Old Penn Station and Shea Stadium.
Lousy, outdated relics. Boy, do you remember what happened the last time we went to New York?
Keep your meat hooks off my sister Marge, or my goons will do a soft show on your solar plexus.
You're dead, JJ. Get yourself buried.
Tough cookie, huh? Or watch me take a bite out of you.
I'm about to go owl shooting, and you just said who?
That's some lip you got on you. How'd you like me to stretch it like a rubber band and snap you into last week?
You're selling milk, JJ, and I got a sour stomach.
Homer, that sounds like the sweet smell of success.
It didn't feel like success.
Quick punch-up. When Bart says your two least favorite buildings are now gone, of course, we're thinking the World Trade Center, but Bart delivered the line too fast. There should have been a pause.
Make it last a bit longer, yeah.
Yeah, to give us, a little time to take that joke in.
Yeah.
And then Homer's sweet smell of success scene. That's something that Craig hasn't seen.
I haven't either. It looks really cool, though.
It looks so cool.
No, it looks like a fun, artsy film that, I never saw it either. It's a great 1957 noir thriller.
Starring the late, great Burt Lancaster and Tony Curtis and Susan Harrison and Martin Milner. And let's not forget Jeff Donnell and Barbara Nichols. I think David White's in it, along with Lawrence Dobkin.
And let's just not forget Edith Atwater and Clifford Odets.
No, I'm going to forget them.
That's fine.
Steve, it's a Alexander McKendrick film.
Yeah, and I just know that if I like it, I should also see Sunset Boulevard or Touch of Evil.
Came out June 27th, 1957, so it's almost having its 73rd anniversary?
Yeah, 73rd.
It's got a 98 Rotten Tomatoes. Steve, is it streaming anywhere? Watch now free on Pluto. All right. Steve, do we have to watch this for our Patreon?
I think we might have to. I mean, Tony Curtis was referenced also in Simpsons.
And Sweet Smell of Success has Burt Lancaster, who was in Field of Dreams. And that's one of my favorite movies. So,
all right.
Field of Dreams, of course, has a connection to The Simpsons, Steve, and that is James Earl Jones.
Ah, yes.
Ray Liotta. Didn't Ray Liotta do a voice on The Simpsons?
Yeah, but probably James Earl Jones is probably...
Oh, Timothy Busfield. That's right, because Timothy Busfield, we talked about him last week.
It was his birthday.
Yeah. Kevin Costner's never done a voice on The Simpsons?
I don't think so.
They did that bit with him doing the audio commentary to the DVD of Waterworld, but he was actually there. From an episode I believe we can't watch, right?
I think so, yeah.
All right, Steve. Later that day, Bart sits on the floor of his bedroom crying, "Why, ladies, why?" to 5 Malibu Stacy's with his ex-girlfriend's faces taped over their heads. Homer tells his son to dial down the crazy because the Simpsons are going to New York again. But how will they pay for the trip? Well, Homer found a way to save money by swapping houses. Bart is concerned that their house will be wrecked, but Homer explains that it's not their house. He swapped.
So Ned Flanders answers the door to a typical Long Island couple who will be staying at his house for the next 2 weeks. And Ned asks God if he's being tested, and the New Yorker says that while Ned is talking to his friend upstairs, he and his wife will be doing it in Ned's bed, and his wife adds, New York style.
What's New York style sex?
It's a little floppy, but it's good.
Not a lot of toppings, maybe just cheese, maybe some sausage or pepperoni.
Yeah, and you can get it any time of day, but if you get it too late, it's a little rough.
It's usually only $3, right?
Yeah, it's cheap.
Who's the better lay, Ray or Original Ray?
Oh, it's got to be Ray. Something in the water.
That's kind of a genius idea of Homer to use Ned's house because he knew Ned would not turn away strangers. Ned is a true Christian.
It's true.
Not an American Christian,
no.
but a Christian.
Can I tell you how much of an idiot I am?
How Canadian you are?
How much of an idiot I am.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I was watching that and I was like, this is dumb. The AB show Wife Swap hasn't been on the air for 10 years. And then I realized that people just swap houses and it doesn't need to be a TV show.
And 2012, like, was Airbnb around?
It was, yeah, but probably not as prevalent as it was, like, in its heyday.
So the Simpsons arrive at the Big Apple in the middle of Times Square as the tune to On Broadway plays. The family takes in the sights, which are mostly advertisements, such as Death of a Salesman, the musical, Desperation of Krusty, featuring a naked Krusty lustfully grasping a giant fragrance bottle, and a billboard for the MyPad 4. Think superfluous. Homer is proud of where his ancestry has led him.
Things have certainly changed since our ancestor Fievel came here.
Five-O was a mouse in a movie.
Yes, and now look at us. Only in America.
Club Galash! Get your Club Galash!
Oh, jeez, not this guy with his stupid little pushcart.
50,000 square feet, huh? Old Club Galash! Used to be bookstore! Books.
We talk a lot about, callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And going to New York, I'm glad that they had this callback because it's such a, fan favorite.
Right.
I don't think we've ever mentioned it on the show, like that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Kav doing the crab juice or Mountain Dew. Do you remember this bit at all?
It sounds kind of familiar, but I don't know if we've ever done it.
Because, he's like, he needs something to drink, and he's like, Mountain Dew or crab juice, and Homer's like, ew, gross, I'll have the crab juice, insinuating that Mountain Dew is gross, yeah. I can't believe we never brought that up on this podcast.
It seemed like a low-hanging fruit that we just grabbed, but I don't know.
I do like how he references American Tail, the Bible. That was, I love that movie as a kid. And it's funny how, that you think of that movie, when you're a kid, all cartoon movies are just Disney movies. But then when you're, an adult, you realize, oh, it's not a Disney movie at all.
Yeah, it is weird, you just lump, cartoons that are in theaters are Disney's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they kind of are because, corporations. But, yeah.
That's, it was a Spielberg Presents. Mm-hmm. It was before DreamWorks. So, does DreamWorks still exist?
I think so, because they have the How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
So Bart is eager to find Mary. He shows Homer the address that W gave him, which is 533 by the river. So while Homer and Bart search for lost love, Marge, Lisa, and Maggie seek out the high culture of the city. Speaking of culture, Homer tells the naked cowboy that he's missing his clothes. So the tighty-whitey wearing street performer shouts that he thought it was all in a dream, and then he hides behind a mailbox.
The naked cowboy, he still exists, right?
I feel... I don't know if this is true, but for some reason I want to say that he is canceled.
Did he go MAGA?
That's just thinking. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
He's not actually naked. If you're going to be the naked cowboy, hang dong, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Just want to see that cowboy hat and nothing else. And that lasso.
I'm going to be the naked Donald Duck cosplayer. And I'll play the violin. So I'll just wear a sailor's vet, or is that Donald Duck? He just wears a sailor's handkerchief or something. Shirt? Yeah. Why can't I can picture Donald Duck. He's still a thing, right?
He is, yeah.
Okay.
But you can't hang out with Huey, Louie, and Dewey then, because that's a little weird.
And then I'll take my hammer and then twist it around, corkscrew looking like an actual duck's hammer. Okay. I also like how in the first episode of the New York episode, Homer versus New York, didn't Lisa and Marge and Bart also take in the sights? So they're just doing the same thing they did.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, Homer and Bart run through the subway station, pushing past several distraught commuters, an homage to George Tucker's painting Subway. They find a seat on the train between the intimidating bald man covered in tattoos and a transient alcoholic in tatters. Looking at his surroundings, Homer decides to splurge on a cab, taking that drunk and the tattooed man with them.
So they arrive at their destination with the driver saying that any belongings left behind will be gone forever. So Homer slinks out of his seat, attempting to leave Bart behind. But Bart wakes up, and Homer plays it cool, saying that he's so glad that Bart is awake. They then go to the call box of a walk-up apartment. Among H. Golightly, as in Holly Golightly, and T. Bickle, as Travis Bickle, which is impressive that he was able to afford such an apartment on a taxi driver's salary. But Bart rings the bell to call in Mary Spuckler. But there's no answer. All is lost. Or is it?
I guess my search for true love is doomed.
You've learned a very valuable life lesson, boy, which is that love doesn't exist except briefly between a man and a woman before marriage. After that, it's just hanging out with someone who kind of hates you, but you can't get it together to leave. I'll get us some ice cream.
What's the matter, darling?
Thanks for asking, Duchess. I'm sitting here waiting for a girl that's never gonna show up.
What makes you so sure?
Girls don't like me. I don't really like them yet either, but I think I'm gonna. There's a storm a-brewing down there.
Well, there's a girl a-standing right here. It's me, Mary.
Wow. What are you doing for money?
Well, it's not very steady and I'm kind of ashamed. I'm a featured player on Saturday Night Live.
Mary Spuckler!
I'm lying. My whole life here is a bunch of lies. I'm just a writer with a performing option.
Let's talk about something else. Something nice.
The beginning Homer statement about being in a relationship, is he implying that he just wants to leave Marge?
That's kind of what it sounds like, and it's kind of just a bummer of a statement. It's just that, like, love is so fleeting, and it ends, like, right when you get married, and I couldn't disagree more.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you, too. I'm not just taking a long pause for comedic effect. I'm just agreeing.
Okay.
It's funny how Bart is 10 years old and thinks he has lost the love of his life. Like, I remember we talked about how putting, like, high school or teenage problems onto Bart and Lisa is weird.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of similar because of this. Like, I don't think I was ever, like, to feeling the feeling of, like, in love, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really, I don't think it really began for me until I was, like, high school age.
Right. And the fact that he's had 5 relationships before he's 11.
I know. Bart is 10 and has already dated Natalie Portman, Sarah Silverman, Anne Hathaway, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Zooey Deschanel.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, I haven't dated any of those girls yet.
Still time, Craig.
But yeah, like I said, speaking of Zooey Deschanel, there she is. She's back. She's got a funny accent. I do like the Don Porto voice of Mary Spuckler. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
I think SNL should hire, like, 10-year-old kids. What do you think?
I think it's about time they do that, yeah.
What was the youngest cast member? Was it Anthony Michael Hall or Pete Davidson?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if they did that in the...
Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, Eddie Murphy, I think. Pete Davidson.
Okay.
But I think it would be better if they did that in the early 90s, because that way Horatio Sands wouldn't have to leave the building to get what he needed.
Jesus Christ. Allegedly, Steve.
Allegedly. But I like how they implied that working for SNL is like prostitution.
You don't get paid well.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. And it's horrible hours. And there's no reason they need to be staying up till 4 a.m. on a Tuesday.
It's true. Especially when you can just watch TikTok and just rip that off.
Yeah. Or just watch old episodes of SNL and be like, let's just do that again. Let's just do Caveman Lawyer. No one's going to remember that.
Mm-hmm. What's that thing where they sing at the wedding? Let's do that again.
Jesus Christ. Don't get me started. That was an SNL bit. Don't get me started. It's Molly Shannon. Okay. So, at the theater on Broadway, a marquee advertises the show Papa Pia, the sequel to the hit Mamma Mia, and the sequel to that, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Isn't there going to be a new Mamma Mia, or am I just making that up?
No, I'm pretty sure there is going to be a third one.
So, like, Mamma Mia, shit's about to get real. So, as the sign explains, the story continues because ABBA has more songs.
Well, at the ticket booth, Marge offers what little cash she has to get some adjusted rate tickets. The attendant offers Marge and Lisa some seats that are on the second balcony with a partially obstructed view and no bathroom privileges, and the legal stipulation that they must change the spotlight gel should the need arise. And Lisa is just happy to say that she's been to a Broadway show, but when the ticket seller tells Lisa that she's not allowed to say that, Marge changes her mind. And yeah, they did see I'm Checking In when they went to New York.
Speaking of former SNL cast members, Robert Downey Jr.
Very true.
Wasn't actually him in the episode, but they referenced his horrible drug problem past, and they sure showed him. Now look at Robert Downey Jr. Nothing.
Can't even decide if he's a hero or a villain.
Much like Harvey Dent, Two-Face himself, right?
Oh, yes.
So back at the steps of the luxury apartment, Mary wonders if Bart came to the big city just to see her. And Bart did come. Plus, he thought he might just be able to see an air conditioning unit fall on someone's head. Just as he says how rare that occurrence is, an AC unit lands on, well, Homer's head.
So Mary wants to see Bart again without the company of adults, so they agree to meet in secret the following day. She runs inside, leaving Bart to swipe the 2 fudgicles from Homer's hands as he chokes a lamppost.
Fudgesicles, Steve. Fudgesicles.
Fine. Fudgesicles. The air conditioner still on his head. Marge and Lisa watch this from a giant screen in Times Square. If only they could see Homer on a Jumbotron for something good.
Mary and Bart reunite, safe from Homer since there is a flight of stairs between them. Homer struggles, out of breath, to walk up the steps. A concerned New Yorker asks Homer if he can move, and Homer replies that he can't, so the local pulls out a switchblade and cuts out the back pocket of Homer's pants, grabbing the wallet as it falls out. Homer probably wouldn't have that problem if he at least gave his wallet to the wallet inspector.
Yeah, that's why they inspect him. It's for your safety.
So Homer blames the town's leadership, while Bart catches up with Mary.
I thought there was no crime in New York anymore. Giuliani!
Give me some news of Springfield.
They let Sideshow Bob out of prison again. Huh, didn't know they still ran those trains.
How's your mama and your sister?
Trying to find high culture at low prices.
No, Lisa! If you click that turnstile, it'll blow our budget.
Well, without them around, you and I can walk through the city holding hands, just like the men folk do.
I could listen to your twang all day.
For those who are listening and not watching the episode, when they mentioned Sideshow Bob was right behind them with a knife, and then he got hit by a train, so that's why Bart references that the train still runs.
Very nice, and the homophobia was just because Mary is who she is.
Yeah. She just said, the men holding hands. It didn't seem like she was derogatory about it.
No, just naive.
Yeah. Steve, when we do live shows, if and when, we will hold hands on stage.
But that's just how we exchange proteins.
Exactly. And we won't be wearing pants.
Because that's also how we exchange proteins. So Mary offers her twang by way of song, specifically the one she wrote about Bart. He offers to do a rap in the middle, but Mary suggests that he just stop and enjoy the tune. Mary asks a busker on the street if she can borrow his guitar, and the performer happily agrees, saying that it's the case that makes all the money. And so as people continue to drop their spare change into the case, Mary begins her song.
A boy I knew turned up again. Kinda liked him way back when. Chased him round the livestock pen.
Rolling on my skateboard, pimping like a drug lord.
Well, I'm on the cusp of womanhood, and I like a boy that ain't no good at nothing except making me smile. That's Bart. I thought my old ways I had shed, but I sure missed his cylinder head. Now that boy is a come to me, oh yes. B-A-R now, where's that T? Where is it? I don't know. Oh, that's Bart. I really like you, Bart Simpson.
Is it in Zooey Deschanel's contract that she has to sing in everything she's in?
I think it is on her writer, yes.
I feel like you don't like Zooey Deschanel for some reason. I have this vibe about her.
She's not my favorite.
Who is your favorite?
I don't know.
Who's your favorite Zoe? Maybe we'll start there.
Kravitz?
I thought you were going to say Elizabeth Moss's character on West Wing. But you only like Elizabeth Moss and her religious beliefs.
Exactly. Just wish she'd play a victim on a show sometime.
Zoe's not that common of a name. I mean, I feel like it actually is now. There's probably so many Zoes. But I don't know them. They're not famous yet. There's
a Muppet on Sesame Street. Speaking of Sesame Street, she's a good Zoe.
I do like that meme, though. Zooey Deschanel, it's the, everyone makes fun of, Superman because he just wears glasses as Clark Kent and no one can tell the difference. But, if you've seen that meme online, it was it exists if, Zooey Deschanel with, bangs and glasses, and then she doesn't have bangs and no glasses.
Mm-hmm.
She just looks like Katy Perry.
It's true.
Maybe it was Katy Perry. Sorry, astronaut Katy Perry.
That's right.
Well, Bart and Mary look into each other's eyes, and after a brief moment of hesitation, lean in to kiss. Their romantic moment is stopped by the shadow of Cletus, who is there to bring Mary home. So the yokel says that Brandine really misses Mary, but she just can't say it on account of the donkey busting her jaw. That's what Cletus calls his hammer, the donkey.
I don't know if it's worse that people know what we mean when we say hammer or not, because either way, it sounds pretty bad.
Well, we've already established, I think, a couple episodes ago that hammer is now the new word for a hog, which, of course, a hog is a penis. But we don't say penis because we're immature adults.
That's right, hammer.
The hammer, yeah. We're taking hammer back, Steve. You can't touch this.
Please, Hammer, don't hurt him.
So Cletus assures Mary that she is all right, and her mother is okay too.
Fun joke. So Lisa walks through Central Park, her nose in the magazine Out and About New York. The headline is, Manhattan Clam Chowder. Is there any other kind? Ugh. But Lisa is looking for affordable culture. Broadway may be too expensive, and the museums may be over-curated. But Shakespeare in the Park is taking place that evening, and it's free.
Now, you did a to Manhattan Clam Chowder.
Yes.
I would surmise that you would actually prefer a Manhattan Clam Chowder, because you don't like a basic clam chowder, which is like a milk cream based, and you don't like cream-based soups.
It's true. I mean, I guess if I had to choose, I would go Manhattan. I just don't like a seafood soup or stew.
Well, that's where we're going to have to disagree, Stephen.
That's fair.
We do our food podcast. We're going to have a chowder off. Sorry, a chowder off.
Chowder. Say it, Frenchie.
Well, unfortunately, the line to Shakespeare in the Park has already started. The camera starts where Lisa and Marge are standing and whips through the line till it reaches the other side where Lisa and Marge are standing. Once they reach their seats, they avoid the concessions and wait the show.
Get your cuckolds horns, neck ruffles, Yorick skulls.
I'll take a cuckold's horn. It works!
Ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement. That's not iambic pentameter.
I'm afraid that tonight's show has been canceled.
Huh?
Why?
Wherefore?
The Baldwin brothers, who were playing the Montague family, and the Sheen Estevez clan, our Capulets, have quit the production.
You guys suck at acting, and you ate all the potato salad.
No, you suck at acting, and it's first come, first served.
I made that potato salad.
Well, idiot, it says Zabar's on the package. He works at Zabar's. We all work at Zabar's.
I'm so sorry. You came to see Romeo and Juliet, not feuding families. The long, slow line to leave the theater forms on the left.
And we have to walk by a drum circle.
Faster, man! More annoying!
I like you came here to see Romeo and Juliet, not a family's feuding. That was good.
Yeah. I also enjoyed the impressions of the Sheens and the Baldwins. Pretty good.
Yeah. That British actor, Michael Sheen, and all of his family members that act.
They probably just had Sarah Silverman there, and she's like, well, he's right with her, because they were dating at the time. 2012, were they, Steve? Or was she with Jimmy Kimmel? Ooh, maybe, probably.
Or Bart Simpson?
Well, maybe Bart had the cuck ears that they buy at the concession stand, so he could watch her and Jimmy.
Jimmy, isn't that Milhouse's son? Milhouse and Lisa's kid?
It all wraps around together.
So Jimmy Kimmel is actually a balloon animal.
And the theoretical son of Lisa and Milhouse.
All right, Steve, if I go see Jimmy Kimmel next week, I'll ask him, all right?
All right, please do.
Have you been to Shakespeare in the Park?
I have not. It seems like a great thing, an accessible way to get culture, but I've never seen it. Have you?
Well, unknowingly, Steve, I stumbled upon it because, as you know, I open carry.
Of course.
In the state it's allowed. So I'm just in a park and I see grown men in togas stabbing a dude in the back, so I open fire. Turns out that was just a production of Shakespeare in the Park of Julius Caesar.
If nothing else, it's a compliment to the actors for their great performances.
I, of course, am making a reference to the hit 1980-something film, The Naked Gun. No, not the one with Liam Neeson, the one with Leslie Nielsen.
Speaking of hammers.
Oh, do you think Liam Neeson will show his hammer, finally, in The Naked Gun?
I mean, you gotta live up to the title.
Because, what's her name? Pamela Anderson's in it. Mm-hmm. So I'd like a scene where she's like, still not as big as Tommy's.
That's the joke.
Of course, Tommy Lee, who has a hammer himself. And you can see his hammer at www.pornography.com.
Use hashtag annoyed disappointed boys.
DisappointedHogs.com. So Lisa stops the exiting audience, saying that they came for Shakespeare, and they are going to Shakespeare. She invites anyone who wants to be in the show to grab a doublet and meet her backstage. So a posh actor dressed as a cowboy asks if there's a role for him. But Lisa was hoping for amateurs only.
So the astute thespian says that his only professional gig was a nefarious hot dog in a Taco Bueno ad. He then recites his line from the commercial before begging Lisa to let him join, as he owes Yale Drama $200,000. So Lisa agrees to let him in, and he admits that he has crippling stage fright.
Marge addresses the crowd reciting the final lines of Romeo and Juliet. Ash begins to enjoy speaking in the bard's tongue. Homer, Bart, Mary, and Cletus all meet up outside of 30 Rockefeller Center, current location of all 24-hour U-Stort Place, and once the home of NBC Studios.
Our search for culture is thus concluded, for the Bard of Avon is well suited to a crowd with every cell phone muted. Jeez, I can't stop talking like this.
Hey, don't ever stop, because tonight we made it in New York.
Those the people who took over the theater? Pepper spray and power wash. The New York hug and kiss.
Now, Mary, you listen to me. I'm 1/3 your father, and you're gonna come back.
Y'all will excuse me. I gotta freshen up for the ride home.
Enjoy your fancy schmancy in-house for the last time.
Psst. I've gotta go.
Go where?
Well, since we're here, I'm gonna go try to get Al Roker's autograph.
Here you go, little fan. Killer storm on the way.
I'm gonna go try to sell this.
I'll buy it back.
So, if Cletus is only 1/3 her father, who's the other 2/3? I mean, obviously, Brandine.
And the alien, as we learned from the family tree from last week.
Oh, thanks for answering my question.
Yeah, happy to do it.
I was trying to make a joke, but I failed because I don't do my research.
That's right. That's why I'm here, I guess.
I've always called you Old Research Steve. Can I say Al Roker might be my favorite scene?
It's fun. I like Roker being self-effacing, and it's good to see him.
Does a good job of that. Always was the, if some guest backed out of Late Night with Conan O'Brien, you always rely on old Al Roker to show up. One of the few, big guys that got skinny and stayed skinny.
Yeah, because this was actually 10 years after his surgery, this episode, and now it's been several years after that, so yeah.
Do you think we will have to fly our flags half-mast for Al Roker when he passes?
Well, I mean, probably. Because I'll always remember him as a national hero. Because one time when he's visiting the White House, he pooped his pants. And he reported about it, and that always makes me laugh.
Al Roker. Seems like a great guy. I hope, nothing bad ever comes out about him. He's been hanging around with Matt Lauer before, right?
Yeah.
Friends.
I mean, they were both on the Today Show, so probably,
yeah. I'm a little... Hopefully, he seems like a good guy. Let's keep it that way, okay?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Al, I will call you that.
You can call me Betty. Well, at Grand Central Station, Mary says goodbye to Bart. She tells him that there will be other Mary Spucklers, such as her sisters, Mary Zeke and Mary Not Quite Right. They share one final kiss, and a crowd around them say, "Aw." Even the knife-wielding pickpocket is touched, stealing a hanky to wipe his tears away.
Mary hops on the boarding Santa Fe train and pops her head out of the window to give Bart some advice. If a girl comes along and tries to fix him, he should let them since he has a couple of big problems. Mostly, though, he's great.
So the train departs, and departs, just as the parents arrive. Cletus wants to know where his daughter's headed, but Bart can't say. Hard demands that he squeal like a piggy for the hillbilly man, but Bart just can't do it. If she's a girl that proves that girls can like him, she wouldn't like him anymore if he ratted her out.
Cletus can torture Bart like he does the English language, but Bart won't give Mary up. After saying, "Well, if that aren't," Cletus agrees that Mary just has to find her own path. It's time to head home. So Cletus goes to the ticket booth and asks for one on Gitter for the clickety-clack, please.
So on the train ride home, Bart begins to cry. Seeing that he's distraught, Cletus offers Bart a picture of Mary. The photo is actually of the entire Spuckler clan, but Cletus says that Mary is somewhere in B3. Homer's proud of his son for processing his adult emotions, and Marge is happy that his story didn't end as tragically as Romeo and Juliet.
Homer points to some theatrical criticisms from the New York Post with the headline, "Barred to Death." Lisa is enraged as she demanded that no critics be in the attendance. But her tone changes when she reads that they like her, and the credits roll. But before we go, Steve, there's one more message from The Simpsons. So let's hear that and then discuss what that message is about.
All right.
Like we always do on Clips. That's how Clips work, Steve, on this podcast.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. And if you're worried about when the air conditioner fell on my head, rest assured it was a stuntman, and his family is being well taken care of.
But we're here to ask if you have an idea for a couch gag.
The best submission will be animated and appear on the show.
Do we screw them on the credit?
No. For details, log on to thesimpsons.com.
I'm submitting mine now.
I like when cartoons reference that they're real life people and that stuntman died for the bit.
Yeah, it's really good.
So this couch gag, Steve, can we enter it now?
I think it's over at this point, but it was a real thing because it did run from September 30th to November 15th, 2012. So we're a little late.
Yeah. I'm kind of bummed that I don't remember this. Like, did you just have to write a synopsis and?
Yeah, it was just a synopsis of a 2D animation that had to be under a minute, and there was all kinds of prizes, including a 4-day, 3-night trip to LA, flight included, 3 nights at a hotel.
Did they have to animate the short too?
They didn't. No,
nice.
Yeah, which was good. And they even got $500 spending money, and so the total winnings is $3,700.
Wow, in a row?
In a row.
The prize, like Steve said, it was for 2 people, so you didn't have to go alone. 3 nights in a standard hotel accommodations. You also got to attend a table read. You got illustration of their winning submission, merchandise package. Yeah, $500 to spend. So, was there a winner, Steve?
There was, and it aired on the season finale of season 24, which is Pulpit Friction, which we have yet to discuss. But it features the Simpsons as dandelions, and a viewer blows on them, and the white flies into the air and lands down as Simpsons pieces floating down. It's really nice.
Was the viewer the winner?
Yes.
Wow, all right.
I mean, I think with The Simpsons, the viewer is always the winner.
All right. Well, eventually we'll have to watch that episode and remember this fact.
Indeed.
I love a good Hollywood fact, Steve. All right. Are we done?
We are. Let's take a little break. We'll be right back.
We are back. Let's finish up Moonshine River. We'll talk about some of our favorite jokes and scenes, maybe a bit of MVJ. We'll give it a review, find out what we're watching next week. But before all that, there's something from this episode that can be gifted to each other. And Steve, I got you 3 lovely parting gifts for this week. The first gift is something that you need to spice up your marriage, and that is a cuckold horn.
Of course.
Because you're getting a brand new Mo blow-up doll.
Oh.
And you're going to be kind of hungry after all that sex and cuckolding you do. So I got you some bag of ravioli that looks a lot like Bart. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Did you also give me a cuckold horn?
I did, but I got you some other things too, because I thought you'd be hungry as well after your cuckolding. So I got you some cave kalash, crab juice included, of course. And then after you're, all full, you're going to want to watch a movie. So I got you the DVD set of the making of the Empire State Building by Ken Burns. So that is behind-the-scenes documentary about the making of the Empire State Building. So it's 14 hours, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So there you go.
I will enjoy it, Steve. All right, what made you laugh in this episode?
There's quite a few things. I really enjoyed Old Man Wellbottom. That's really funny. The popcorn bath. Bart and Homer's joke about the 2 least favorite buildings are gone. But I do agree with that they should have waited a beat. Homer calling out Giuliani. The whole sweet smell of success bit. The air conditioning gag. I like the pickpocket. But I think my favorite joke is the guitar case when Mary asks the guy if she can borrow the guitar. And he's like, well, of course. Because it's a guitar case that makes all the money, and then people continue to put money in the guitar case. It's really funny. But I think if I had to give an MVJ, I'm going to give it to Homer. I didn't like his sentiment about love, but I did like his popcorn talk. He was kind of funny in this episode, so I'm going to give it to him. What are your thoughts, Craig?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that guitar case joke in the episode, but that was definitely a good joke. And you're right about the Homer and the popcorn bit. I, too, like the jokes you like, but the Al Roker one still stands out as
oh, yes.
Funny. Yeah. MVJ, you know, we never give the MVJ to Milhouse, so he can have it for thinking that him and Lisa can have a baby named Jimmy together.
Aw, that's sweet.
And, R.I.P., of course, to Sideshow Bob, who is presumably killed by a train.
Yes, that's right.
All in all, Steve, what do you think of this episode?
Well, Craig, I think about this as like the, it's been this long summer, and they're back for season 24 in 2012, And so, the people haven't watched The Simpsons in a while, and I know that there are fans who are like fair weather fans, or who always, the people who always are like, it used to be better. They always check out the season finale, or the season premiere rather, and say, where's it at now? And I think if they were to sit and watch this episode, they might have some fun. They might be a little bit confused about all the guest stars, but there's still a lot of jokes. There are a lot of guest stars, and I think they all do a great job. The story, though, is weird because it's abbreviated both by the contest at the end and the long intro with the couch gag, which was fine. But that works out to be like an 18-minute episode after that. And I feel like the plot is a little weak, but I think it's made up for by the jokes. And they are retreading, aside from the characters, but going back to New York and basically giving Lisa and Marge very little to do except for do a less good version of what they did the first time they went to New York. That being said, what did work was really funny. I thought it was fun. It was an enjoyable episode. Also, this episode, we didn't mention it, but it was dedicated to Andy Williams, who performed Moon River famously. But also he died shortly before this episode on September 25th, 2012. And so this episode, if I had to give it a numerical ranking, as everyone knows, especially Nelson Muntz, Andy Williams had 42 studio albums. So out of 42 studio albums, I'm going to give this his 32nd, The Way We Were, which was released in May of 1974. What are your thoughts, Craig?
And of course, they parody that title on The Simpsons, The Way We Weren't.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have to agree with you again, unfortunately. This was just a nice episode. Like, I know we have problems sometimes of Bart and Lisa, like we said earlier, of adapting to teen stories as children. But I think it's fun always exploring Bart's, love life. And I don't think we have much on this podcast, except for last week, and we did one with the Sarah Michelle Gellar episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most fans would say Bart's Girlfriend is probably the top girlfriend episode with Meryl Streep as Reverend Lovejoy's daughter, right?
Right. You're bad, Bart Simpson.
And, I think it works because since we didn't see the first episode with Zoe Deschanel's character, I think it was pretty easy to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy it. I thought it was a lot of fun and some funny jokes and nothing too offensive in this episode. And like you said, the references for the New York again, I enjoyed it. It's definitely a mid-tier episode. It's not like I'm, gaga over it because that, of course, is the episode Lisa goes gaga.
Of course.
But I'm not like how I disliked other episodes, like last week, right? The one with Natalie Portman we weren't too much fans of.
Right.
But this one, pretty serviceable. So if I had to give this a ranking, Zoe Deschanel also has a sister named Emily Deschanel. Of course, famous for her TV show Bones. So if I had to give this a ranking out of Bones, you've got the cranium, you got rib bones, you got the humerus, which, maybe this should be the humorous bone, because humor. But I'm going to go with some of my favorite bones. This is a coccyx, Steve, so out of bones in the human body, it's a coccyx.
Oh, right.
I know you probably would give it more of like a tibia or a sacrum, maybe.
Maybe an ulna.
But it's me, Steve, so I'm going the coccyx. All right, well, hey, there's your episode for this week, Steve. I'm having fun exploring Bart's love life, and we have never reviewed the episode that Zoe Deschanel did originally, so I think we should keep it going. Let's review that episode.
I love it. It's a great idea.
You probably don't know the title, but I do. I'll let you know. It was from season 19, episode 17, Steve. What do you think this episode is called?
Well, this one was called Moonshine River, which, of course, is a take on a classic song. But I think they're going to stick with the same structure and go Vodka Lake. That's it.
I would love to vacation on Vodka Lake. But, Steve, that is absolutely stupid and wrong.
Whoa.
This episode is called Apocalypse Cow. So what do you think that title means?
Well, I'm going to say that in the A story, the cow that grew up on Homer's farm when he was a boy, because he grew up on a farm, ate some of that nuclear waste from the tobacco plant and is threatening to blow up Springfield. And only another farmer can save the day. That's right, it's Cletus. But he's distracted because his daughter is falling in love with Bart Simpson, because his daughter is Mary Spuckler, as played by Zoe Deschanel.
Well, here's all I have on the internet. It says Bart wins a contest with a cow, but realizes it is going to be slaughtered. So he saves it and gives it to one of Cletus' kids, but Cletus believes that it is a token of marriage. All right, so you're partially right, Steve. I wonder how you knew that.
I've been doing this for a couple of years. I know how the Simpsons do their thing.
All right, so looks like we're having hot Bart love summer, or just Bart summer, or what should we call this?
I think Bart summer is good.
Yeah, the Bart and his loves. All right. I know this podcast is over now because we've said our things.
We've said all the words that we need to say.
All right. Everybody, if you'd like to type words to us, you can do that by going to our email. That's 138simpsons@gmail.com. Leave us a message. You could also just go on our Patreon, patreon.com/AnnoyedGruntBoys, and you can leave a message there. You go to youtube.com/@13simpsons, leave a message there. And if you have Instagram, we got that, @13simpsons.
And you can go to tpublic.com/user/AnnoyedGruntBoy and get yourself some great Annoyed Grunt Boy swag. We've got all kinds of designs that you can put on a shirt, a sticker, or whatever the hell you want.
Thanks again for listening, everyone. I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Craig.
And I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Steve.
And remember, please let there be a butt coming.
Like every episode, this one is not only poorly planned, but also horribly executed.
Well, I hope this doesn't sound weird, but I'm inside your closet.